All right. Well, okay, so we will get started. We just need maybe a couple blocks today. And we're going to start lying down in Supta Baddha Konasana. So today the default will be lying flat, no block. If you really feel like you want a block under that upper chest, you could put a block under the upper chest. All right. And here we are, making your way down. If you want, maybe doing a sitting Baddha Konasana for a moment, getting a little bit of looseness and spaciousness in the hip joints. And then as you're ready, making your way down, lining up those heels right together against center line. Lengthening long through the spine. You can let the hands be wherever you like, maybe resting on the belly there, or alongside, maybe up overhead with the elbows really bent to a big diamond or a square shape. So you kind of got your arms doing the same thing as the legs. And inhaling and exhaling, letting your body rest into the earth. Letting go of the rest of the day. Bringing your attention a little more inside, feeling the rise and the fall of the breath. And as you become a little more centered, grounded, and aware in your body, you'll be making little subtle adjustments, maybe not being 100% passive anymore. A little drawing down of the shoulder blades, leveling the pelvis. If you notice that pelvis has a tendency to tip to one side or the other. A little long and flat through the core, but all very gently. Overall, we still want to have a general feeling of easefulness. Letting go of resistance. Feeling all those subtle changes from moment to moment, from breath to breath. And we'll take 3 or 4 more breaths here. And then sliding the legs out straight. Taking a stretch overhead with the arm. Ah. And let's bend the knees. And we're going to go for a wide bridge pose. So putting the feet out there at the edges of the mat, maybe not all the way to the edges. Don't want you to feel like too splayed out, but wider than hip distance. And try to make the feet really parallel. And as we come up, don't let the knees fall in, feeling a little pressing out of the outer thighs, coming up in a wide bridge pose, maybe interlocking the fingers underneath. Inhale and exhale, enjoying the extra spaciousness in the lift. And that little bit different feeling, a stronger press out from the outer knees and outer. And a few more breaths here. And then coming down, rolling down vertebrae by vertebrae, landing on the floor. As you pull the knees in wide, or pull the knees in, keep them wide for a moment, and then drawing them into the center. And we'll do a few rolling like balls, or whatever you need to do if this doesn't work for your spine. And if you're rolling here, deliberately pulling back, scooping into the abdominal muscles. And we'll take 3 or 4 more rolls. And then we will finish up to sitting and sitting in Sukhasana with the crossed legs. Using the arms alongside, lengthening up, getting space between the vertebrae, space in the hip sockets. Whatever little squinging and shifting you want to do. And then finishing with that, letting the hands rest on the knees, pouring down the sides of the neck, off the tops of the shoulders, along through the center line. Inhaling and exhaling. And then reaching out wide through the collarbones, through the fingertips, and we'll breathe the arms up. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Let's do that twice. And then remembering which leg is in front. Coming out to the giant bug shape arms inside, holding on to the ankles or shins, or you can think of it as happy baby sitting up, pulling forward and up a little, feeling like the feet and thighs are dragging up, trying to pull that lower waist up out of the hip joints. So we're both sort of folding into the hip joints a lot, and at the same time trying to make more space there. And then we'll do the twist. Left hand going, so I'm not being the mirror here, I'm doing my real right left. Left hand to the right ankle, twisting open, pressing out through the right. Pressing that outer left knee away. Check that the left leg didn't start to collapse into the center. And then swooping around, twisting to the left. Big reach out through the left arm. And then feeling that right leg, you can even look back at it, make sure it's not falling into the center, a little pressing away with the right outer knee. And then we'll swoop to the right again. Take a deep breath. Swooping over to the left. Take a deep breath. Let's do that twice more. And right. And left. And once more each side. And then back to the center. Give a little pull up and we'll come up in the floating lotus. That's with essentially this same position with the feet off the floor and the shins parallel to the floor. So they're deliberately pressing up toward the ceiling, but not going past parallel. Long line from the knees out, the tops of the feet going up through the top of the head and the upper chest, maybe staying here holding on with the hands or letting that go, palms up, and then perhaps adding the Jian Mudra, tip of the thumb and index finger together, and floating out. One more breath. And then legs come down, changing the cross of the legs back to Sukhasana, coming forward and over, breathing across the back of the. And come up, unfurl the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, up on top of the sitting bones. Inhaling and exhaling. And then let's come up in downward facing dog, walking the dog or anything else you want to do here. And then finishing up with whatever you're doing, finding the best downward facing dog of this moment, nothing moving but the breath. Coming forward to the leg long and flat against the ceiling. And then right into upward facing dog. So if your wrists and arms are kind of giving out here, you can take this into the Sphinx pose. Making a hammock on the front of the body, even the abdominal muscles at the same time lengthening out. Letting the knees touch down, lift a little more through the upper body. And then we'll bend the knees, squeezing the heels and the upper back toward each other. And straightening out the legs. And we'll cat-cow ripple our way back into child's pose. Taking a few deep breaths here. And then coming up in downward facing dog. And you could go through a vinyasa here smoothly, or maybe just breathing there in upward or in downward facing dog. And then here we'll all meet up in downward facing dog, taking a deep breath, and we'll lift the right leg up, reaching down through that left heel. Nice strong arms, three-legged dog. Bringing the right leg down. And we'll lift the left leg up, three-legged dog. Bringing the left leg down. Let's lift the right leg back up. Bending the knee dog at the high fire hydrant. And through to the lunge. Lengthening that lunge out, and then we'll take a twist to the right. Toward the front leg. And then sort of let your right knee press a little to the right. Pull that right arm a little more to the left. So we're not making, it's not a big shift. It's just a little open, pulling a little out of the center line. And reach around with the right arm to come into Anjali-yasana. The kneeling one. And circling the arms around with a circle of breath and all the way back up over. Namaste in front. And namaste into the floor, stepping forward. Into the concave, back halfway up. Holding over. Couple deep breaths here, stretching down through the feet, pulling up through the sitting bones. And coming up to standing big front body yawn. And arms down, long through the top of the head. Let's circle the shoulders to interlock the fingers, lengthening up the front of the body to lift the chest, to lift the chin. And coming over, pressing out through the hands, hinging over. And release the hands. Concave back halfway up. Folding over, stepping back with the left leg and turning it to 90 degrees. And we'll roller derby for a moment, stretching into the base of the warrior two with your right arm on the right thigh. And coming up in the warrior number two, reaching back with the left arm, reaching forward with the right hand. Smoothing out the breath. And dancing warrior. Anchor the right sitting bone, reach away through the right inner. And windmilling down, stepping back to the plank, through the vinyasa and inversion, downward facing dog. All right, here we go around on the other side. We'll do that three-legged dog on each side first. Lifting the left leg up. Reaching down through the right heel, really feeling that tripod of the two arms and the right leg. And bringing the left leg down. And then we'll lift the right leg up. And bringing the right leg down. Lifting the left leg up again. Dog at the high fire hydrant. Through to the lunge. And then twisting to the left. And then a little bit more indulgence in the twist. Pulling the left arm over to the right. Maybe that left knee falls a little leftward. Not a big deal, not a big rolling onto the outer foot or anything. Just a little more spaciousness and indulgence. And a big reach around with the left arm, bringing the right knee down. And Jayasana. Big circle of breath around. And circling the arms all the way around and back up overhead. Namaste and namaste into the floor to step forward into the concave back halfway up, folding over. Couple breaths here. And then coming up to standing, big front body yawn. And arms down, long through the top of the head. And we will circle the shoulders to interlock the fingers. Lengthening up the front of the body to lift the chest, to lift the chin. And coming. Releasing the hands. A little concave back. Inhale. And exhale. Stepping back with the right leg into the roller derby, turning that right foot to 90 degrees to make the base of our warrior two. Pressing with the left arm against the left inner thigh for a few breaths. Sort of like a one-legged elephant rider too. And then coming up to warrior number two, reaching back with the right arm, reaching long through that left inner. More strength into the center, maybe a little more softness at the top of the shoulders. So as we go into the dancing warrior, it's not the left arm that pulls us up, it comes from the spine first, and then up the left side and over. And windmilling down, stepping back into the plank, through the vinyasa and version. Downward facing dog. Looking between the hands to jump or step forward. Into the concave back, halfway up. Folding over. Deep breath. And coming up to standing, big front body one. And around to Namaste. So we're going to stand around on one leg already. We're going to bring the right leg up at a right angle in front, thigh lifted, and then take it out to the diagonal side with the knee bent. So, on all of this, you don't want to just be holding the thigh, letting your shin dangle around down there. Try to think of your shin very deliberately going straight down through the heel, a little bit of a press forward without actually straightening it. All right, so maybe coming over where you can hold on somewhere. Inhale and exhale to Tadasana. And then pressing down into the left foot as you pull the right thigh up and flex that right foot. We'll press out from the shin and we'll press down from the foot. And then bringing that leg out to the diagonal. Might not go very far. Then you can lift it up and hand into the knee. So the hand can be holding the leg there, but also feel like the knee is pressing out into the hand. Inner thigh, foot through into the hand, a little press away with the shin, foot heel reaching for the floor. If you can, you can take your left arm straight out to the side from the shoulder. Lift a little higher, bringing the right leg down, long through the top of the head. And then we will go to the other side. Steadiness, and then pressing down through the right foot to bring that left leg up. Pulling the thigh up. Little feeling of pressing the shin forward, pressing the foot down. Lifting up through the top of the head. And then leading from the hip joint, pressing that leg out to the diagonal side. If it doesn't go very far, don't worry about it. I notice it gets a little further as we continue to stay. And then left hand in front of the knee, so the knee is pressing out into the left hand, as well as getting some support. Don't let the shin just dangle. It will press out from the shin or reach down through the foot, lifting through the top of the head. And if you have space, you can take that right arm out to the side from the shoulder, whatever will fit. Lift a little higher to bring that left leg down, back to Tadasana. Inhale and exhale. And then back to the front of our mat. Oh, before we come down and around, you have those blocks there. Put the blocks, one at the front, one at the back. Let's see, right now on the left side, you might not need the blocks. We're going to be doing the side angle. You might not necessarily need the blocks. All right, here we are, Tadasana, front of the mat. And a big lift up. And diving. Concave back halfway up, folding over. Let's lift that left leg up in a sort of standing split, reaching up with the left leg, reaching down with the right leg. One more breath. And then a big step back into the lunge. And coming up either in the high lunge with the heel lifted or the warrior one with the heel grounded down. And let's circle those arms all the way around and back up overhead with a really big circle of breath. And Namaste in the center. And into the floor, stepping forward. Into the concave, back halfway up. Folding over. And then we'll lift the right leg up in a standing split or tipped over warrior three or really small three-legged dog. Just reaching through both legs wherever they reach to. Maybe there's even a big bend in your left leg. And a big step back to the lunge, coming up in either the high lunge or the warrior number. And then breathing those arms in a big circle all the way around and back up overhead. And namaste in front. Namaste into the floor, stepping forward. Into the concave back, folding over. And then jumping or stepping back through the vinyasa, downward facing dog. And let's lift our right leg up. And through to the lunge. Warrior number 2 on the right. Checking your alignment. Checking in with your breath. And dancing warrior. And then into the side angle, keeping that right leg bent, elbow on the knee or thigh. The left arm can stay up or maybe reach long over the ear. You can also, if you want, bring that right arm lower. Or on the block. That's why we put the block there. We're coming all the way up to standing, reaching back with the left arm, straightening the right leg, and we'll turn the feet to parallel. Deep breath. Rotating the left leg toward the back of the mat out 90 degrees. Into the warrior number 2. Inner thigh, inner knee, center of the foot. And checking in with your breathing as well. That more subtle alignment. And dancing warrior, bringing the left arm up and away. And into the side angle Parsva Konasana. Your version of this pose for this moment. Maybe it's for this long moment. Maybe you're going to deepen a little, adjust something, decide you may want to make a different choice. This time we're taking the low road, reaching down with the right arm, turning to the wide leg forward bend. Pasarita Padottanasana. And we're going to make our way to the side angle once again from down underneath as we rotate our right leg out 90 degrees. Bend the knee, walking the hands over, maybe the right arm in front of the leg. I find that's the easiest, or I like doing that best for this way of twisting up to the left to come into your side angle. You can always pull up onto your knee. Maybe the arm goes over the ear or not. Maybe it stays lifted up. And then a big reach all the way around with the left arm. Turning to the lunge, stepping back to the plank through the vinyasa, downward facing dog. 3 deep breaths here. Coming down, sitting back in child's pose. And let's come forward onto our stomach into the Sphinx for a few breaths. Just nice and simple, the Sphinx. Then as you breathe into it, maybe it's not so simple. The outer shape is pretty simple. There's all sorts of subtleties inside with those widening collarbones and upper backs, shoulders going down, reaching through the legs, the right and the left side working evenly. Or maybe you don't want to engage with all that, just breathing. Or consciously engage, I should say. And then calming down, forehead on chin on the hands for a moment. And come back up, downward facing dog. And we'll go around. Lifting the left leg up. Through to the lunge. Coming up in the warrior number 2. Checking the alignment. Checking in with the breath. And then dancing warrior, left arm up and away. And into the side angle, Parsvakonasana. Where's this side angle now at this moment? It's all right to have your ego get involved a little and decide where you want to try to have this side angle at that moment and see how that works out. And then we'll come all the way up to standing, reaching back with the right arm. Someone pulls you up, feet to parallel. Yeah, so our mind and our body work together. They're a little bit like a check and balance on each other. As we rotate the right leg out, leading with the inner thigh, the inner over the and then dancing warrior, bringing that right arm up and away. And into the side angle, Parsvakonasana. And then taking the low road, reaching down with the left arm, turning to Prasarita Padottanasana. Wide apart feet. And then coming around back to the front as it were, rotating the left leg out 90 degrees, maybe using the block as we walk our hands to the left. Coming into that side angle yet again, like a twist to the right. You can come all the way up with the elbow on the knee if you want there. Into this side angle at this. And a big reach around with the right arm. Turning to face the left leg. Let's step all the way back to downward facing dog. And then we'll do that same into up dog and onto the knees we did at the beginning. So you can shift it into the Sphinx if you want, doing more or less the same actions as we come forward to the plank. Keeping all that plank strength and into upward facing dog. Letting the knees touch down, lift a little more through the upper chest. Bending the knees, squeezing the heels and the upper back toward each other. Straightening out the legs. And a couple cat cow ripples. And we'll all pull back into child's pose. And then coming up. So we'll have two options, and there's always option number three that you come up with. So we will pigeon pose, or you could come down to the floor and do the figure four, the lying down pigeon pose. Either one. So for those who are pigeon posing, we'll take the low road and just bring that right leg forward, maybe with a block under the sitting bone. Ah, taking a few breaths in the cobra action, going up the front, down, back. And then coming forward and over, sleeping pigeon. And then up. And we'll retrieve that right leg and go into the other side. Bring the left leg forward, maybe using the block. Ah, taking a few breaths, doing the cobra action. And come forward and over into the sleeping pigeon. And no. And coming to the side, and we'll just go into a konasana, the angle pose. So if you're ready to go to Shavasana and you want to take a little longer in Shavasana, and if we're here in the angle pose, making lots of space, coming. And yep. Rolling the legs in. And we will come down for our short Shavasana. Though of course you can stay longer. Inhale and exhale. Resting into the floor. Resting into your breath. And then breathing back into your body. Stretching the arms up. Bending the knees. And we will make our way gently up to sitting. And sitting in any comfortable position with a long and spacious spine. Taking another moment sitting quietly inside yourself. Namaste. Thank you for coming.